everybody, and welcome to the Crucible review of the Trespasser. Now, as with all Crucible reviews, we're going to be talking about the gun in context of the Crucible specifically. So if you want to know how this gun does in PvE, this might not be the best video for you, although I'm sure you can take something from it. Now, I have had the weapon since the first day that the patch came out, but I didn't want to rush my opinion out there. I wanted to play it on all of my classes. I wanted to play it on various different maps against aggressive people, passive people, and really get a good feel as to how this weapon can work in the Crucible and where it can fit into the meta that is currently happening in the Crucible. So when I first started using the Trespasser, I initially really didn't like it, and I think a big reason for that was because I was trying to only use the Trespasser, and that's not good. It's not gonna work like that. Sidearms are in a very weird place. They're a little bit further range than shotguns, but their best range is probably within a really good party crasher rolls range, so they kind of sit in a very weird place. And if you're just running around trying to use the Trespasser, you're probably going to end up getting frustrated by all of the people who are just running at you with shotguns. So as I just calmed down and equipped it with my AS Luna, and I had it as my secondary when people were trying to rush me, I found that I really started to like it. So the positives of this weapon is that it does kind of hit like a truck. If you aim right in the chest, you will find that you hit your shots a lot more often and you're able to take people down pretty quickly. That was another issue that I had initially. I was going for headshots, and although that makes the most sense in your brain, it doesn't actually end up working the best for the Trespasser. It's best to just hit center mass and you will melt people fast enough, especially if they're just aimlessly running at you with a shotgun. So I did find that as I started to slow down and back up a little bit, I could take people out fairly easily when they were rushing me with a shotgun. And that's when things get awesome, because if you do manage to take out that first person who's running at you with a shotgun, you will then activate the perk Unrepentant. And what this perk does is reloading after a kill causes the next burst to be a longer, more powerful super burst, which essentially makes you absolutely impossible to kill in close quarters. Unless someone gets like a jump on you or something, that unrepentant shot is going to destroy anyone that comes at you. So you take down the first person, you have the perk, and then you feel like a god. Now the perk only does last for 5 seconds, so it's not a very long time, but when you do have that perk active, you don't have to worry about anything. It's going to be very difficult for anyone to take you out unless they're at an extreme long range, but even at medium range, I was able to take people out when this perk was active without too many issues, because the burst that it just spews all over people is really kind of great. Now, the things that are not so great about the Trespasser. So Unrepentant is an absolutely amazing perk. It makes you an unstoppable beast, but it chews through your ammo. So as soon as you get fired up and you're like, oh yeah, killing all the mans, you realize that you have no more bullets and then you die. That's kind of how it goes a lot of the time. You kill the first person, you get the second kill, you're like, hell yeah, I'm going in, and then you run out of bullets and you can no longer continue on your mass murder spree. Now, maybe this is completely intentional and they don't want you to continue on your mass murder spree because Unrepentant is a very powerful perk, but it just makes it to where you can't really utilize the Trespasser for extended periods of time. Now, you do get your ammo back when you die. You will end up getting, I believe it's 36 shots, I think. Pretty sure it's 36, but you'll end up getting 36 shots when you die and come back to life, so you can go on that spree one more time, but if you are not dying, you will find yourself without special ammo very quickly. Now, of course, you can use sidearm ammo pants and sidearm ammo chest to try and make your sprees a little bit longer, but for the most part, I think a lot of people have said that this weapon runs out of ammo a lot faster than other sidearms or other special in general. You find yourself running out of ammo very, very quickly. Now, the only other negative that I have is that sometimes it's difficult to find exactly where a gun like the Trespasser fits in your arsenal, because people with shotguns now, especially with Crucible drops being way better than they ever have been, more and more people are getting God roll party crashers. And within a certain range, they're going to beat you. So it has a very, very specific range window, and it definitely takes some getting used to when it comes to figuring out what that window is and how to play around that window. So what I did personally was that whenever I saw it getting chaotic or people were starting to collapse on me, I would jump back up and take them out with the Trespasser. So you do have to be constantly aware of keeping that distance between you. You can't go in super, super hard, really, unless you have Unrepentant active, then you can definitely try. So it is a little bit difficult to get used to. You have to hit the chest, you don't go for headshots, and also the fact that you have to find that very specific range that it is amazing in. But if you can do that, it's actually not a bad addition to your arsenal at all. So as with any exotic weapon, a big question we have to ask ourselves is it worth the exotic slot? Now, that really depends on what primary you have. If you have a real good AS Luna, Lord High Fixer, Hawksaw, etc., I would honestly say that, yeah, I think it's kind of worth it. Because when you get used to that playstyle of using it, you see how useful it actually is. Now, will it be useful in Trials of Osiris? So far, I found that in Elimination, it's not as good as it could be. But in 6v6, when you have a bunch of people running at you with shotguns, I actually found that it worked pretty well, because that first person that messes up and tries to just run at you and they die, they end up killing a bunch of their teammates because they just gave you Unrepentant. So it's definitely a super duper fun weapon. How amazing it is when it comes to playing in a very, very highly competitive environment is to be seen. I haven't been able to use it in Trials, obviously only in Elimination, but in 6v6 it's not only a fun weapon, but it actually works pretty well against all of those pesky shotgunners. So I would say that I really like this gun. I actually think it's good, and I would totally recommend that you do end up trying it out. So overall, I think I'm going to give it an A. Not an A+, and not like a super duper duper great, but I say that it's a solid A. It's not top tier, god tier, special, but it's definitely not bad. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comment section, what do you think about the Trespasser? And initially I did hate it, so if you did hate it and you weren't really a fan of it to begin with, definitely try it out and aim for center mass and see if that does any better for you. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll speak to you awesome people later. Bye.